Despite having a doctorate in pharmacy, having a master's degree, when I first became a life coach, I felt like I wasn't worthy to be able to coach people. When, that was probably the easiest of all the educational endeavors that I have undertaken so far. So I would love to talk about that. And, the other thing I would love for us to, hopefully, we're going to touch on that is how can you increase your self of being empowered?
Okay. We'll talk about it shortly too. I will let you share how people can be able to go ahead and optimize their potentials, just like you said.
Thank you very much. So let's take some of the ones that you have spoken about. Increased self-confidence. If one has increased self-confidence, you're going to feel empowered because you're going to be able to take action and be able to move forward. And one of the things to do to get to that point is making sure that you set achievable goals. People set goals. I call them SMART goals. Now there's something called smarter goals, but let's stay with SMART goals. You want to set goals that are specific.
Yes.
They're measurable. It's not one of those goals that is like one day. You give yourself specific goals. They're measurable, which means that when you accomplish it, there is something that points you to you have accomplished it, attainable and then realistic. I can't say, oh, I'm going to build a house in 2 days. That's not a realistic goal. And then it has to be time bound. What does it mean by time bound? So far as you are someday, it is not a goal, it's just a wish. So that would be one. Sometimes people set goals and then they're frozen. And it's because how are you going about achieving the goals? We can talk about that as well. And then even having positive affirmations will help you to increase your self-confidence. Like I go to the book that is the only book that I hold on to mostly, the Bible. Yes. One of my passages is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So when I am frozen, I am feeling a bit of doubt, or some of that imposter syndrome wants to come back, I go back to that word. So you don't have to go to the Bible if that's not what you believe. Of course, one would want it to. But there are so many different affirmations, so many different words of encouragement that you can give yourself. And then continuous learning. If you know that there's something you're interested in, like, I could have said, oh, I have a doctorate in pharmacy, I'm a master's owner, this and this, I have 30 years of experience and what have you, and not humble myself to go and do continuous learning. I went through a coaching program that gave me a certification so that I can learn and be equipped to be able to help other people. So that's one way to do it. And then, for people that experience anxiety and stress and finds there's a difficulty in being able to adapt, mindfulness. You can practice mindfulness. Rather than being agitated and worried, why not just sit and take a deep breath? Even just deep breathing will steady one's heart. There's several different things. And now there are apps. We have to also incorporate technology into this conversation. There's so many apps that are out there that you actually can use to be able to help you with mindfulness, whether it's meditation or, I have one on my watch that it gives me 1 minute meditation so that I can learn and be equipped to be able to help other people. So that's one way to do it. And then, for people that experience anxiety and stress and finds there's a difficulty in being able to adapt, mindfulness. You can practice mindfulness. Rather than being agitated and worried, why not just sit and take a deep breath? Even just deep breathing will steady one's heart. There's several different things. And now there are apps. We have to also incorporate technology into this conversation. There's so many apps that are out there that you actually can use to be able to help you with mindfulness, whether it's meditation or, I have one on my watch that it gives me 1 minute mindfulness every night. So there are different technologies, so we don't have to feel like we have to come up with it. We cultivate that so that we can. Why is mindfulness important? So that you can be aware of your thoughts and your emotions and be able to develop steps. It's called resilience. Be able to develop resilience in how you manage stress and challenges. Those are extremely important. And what I have found, and research has also found, is that as you are able to go through each stress or challenge, you actually are growing stronger. There's something in our brain, it's physiology, that actually is called the amygdala in the brain. Its job is to protect us. And so when you have situations that are negative, associated with negative emotions, the amygdala actually will remind the person, oh, I don't remember you did this and you got burnt. But if you can go over that hump and take that action, you are able to actually be able to take out that negative memory and build a new one. And so next time there is no barrier that is reminding you of that. I mean, the amygdala will not remind you of that. Lastly, just under that, you can also seek support yourself with network of people. And that's where I want to weave in what we talked about, the comfort zone. If you are in a group of people that you are the superstar, then you probably need to look around. You're in your comfort zone. You need to surround yourself with people that will, even by their actions and their accomplishment, they actually challenge you without saying anything. I'm going to stop there because you know that this is my area and I can keep talking.
Yes, thank you so much. Honestly, there's so much to talk about. But time at times is always not on our side. And I just want to add that don't be a perfectionist. Learn to embrace the fact that you can make mistakes. You can make mistakes. Mistakes should not define who you are or stop you from taking steps forward. Perfectionists many times do not move past where they are, because when you strive for perfection, it can paralyze your efforts.
Yes.
You keep going back to do it and do it and do it, and you're not moving forward. It paralyzes you. Actually, a lot of times people who are perfectionists will not do it again because they feel they are not good enough. Honestly, when I started out with the YouTube channel or any of the social media, I thought that it has to be completely on point. And for a while, I did not post. I did not even know when one of my posts got over 20,000 views. I mean, at that time, it got about 19,000 views. And I didn't realize it because I thought it was not good enough. And I just, wow. I almost stopped doing it because I was waiting until we have the room set up, the studio set up, we have this and that done. But one day I discovered that I could even use my phone. If you are that kind of person that does not want to make mistakes, you are not going to be a risk taker. And then you are never going to be content with anything you're doing. And so you are going to downplay your potentials and your efforts all the time until you find out that you just quit that thing completely. And that's not going to get you.
That is so true. that is so true. And thank you for bringing that up. I really, the thing that keeps coming to my mind as you were speaking is do not despise the days of small beginnings.
Yes.
And I have to say that to myself as well. And then, I was talking to my daughter today, and I'm actually going to record that and post that particular one because, I love planting. I love, that I have so many plants. And, one of my daughters also had a plant that died. And she, she's like, Mom, I know you have a green thumb. So, you just take this. And I started nurturing the plant back to life. And initially it was so small. And, she bought it really big, paid some good money for it. But, now, not only does it have one in that pot that she gave to me that was dead. Now it has two.
Wow.
One thing I want to say, yes, and I'm going to talk about that because it's about not giving up. It's about not despising the days of small beginnings and understanding the difference between excellence and perfection.
That's true.
People mistake perfection for excellence.
Yes.
You can be a perfectionist and still miss the mark. Because, why do I say that? Because you might be a perfectionist and actually not take the time to really get the nitty-gritty of what is needed.
Honestly.
The goal. And so that's extremely, extremely important. And, that takes me to something else that I want to talk about, greater self-awareness. In order to be self-empowered, one has to develop, remember we talked about self-awareness, the values, and being able to, for you to be self-confident enough, you have to be self-aware. And how do you develop self-awareness? Remember how I talked about being able to be adaptable and to also be mindful when you engage in mindfulness practice, you're able to be aware of your thoughts. A lot of us take actions. We think things or things drop into our hearts and we just keep going.
We don't ruminate on it. We don't think about it. We don't process it well.
You don't process it. Exactly. You don't engage it. So engaging our thoughts and our emotions, it helps us to build that awareness. And that is so really, really important. Journaling is another way of having greater self-awareness. As you journal, you're able to put your thoughts, it takes you from the fast lane into being able to take a deep breath and you're capturing, you're reliving, and so you're capturing some of the things that you may have missed, and it helps one to gain insights into one's personal values, like we talked about. What are your values? What values guide your life? A lot of people just take on other people's values. If somebody says my value is red or something, they take that on.
Red.
What are your personal values that you live by? Because if you have your set of values, then that's how you create your vision and your mission for your life. Do you even have mission and vision for your life? So those are some of the things. What are your beliefs? What belief system do you subscribe to? Everybody else's belief system? If you don't have a belief system, then I'm saying this very candidly, you're going to take on anything and everything that people bring to you.
That's true.
And then, when you journal, you're able to see where is it that there are opportunities even for yourself, your pattern of behavior. Because sometimes people will say, I don't know. We do know. We as coaches, we don't suggest things to people.
No, that's not.
As you know that, right, Pastor Tony?
That's not our call at all as coaches.
Yeah.
We help you pull out from the depth of potentials in you, so that you self-empower yourself.
Exactly. So you already have the answers, and you have these things that we're talking about. We're just giving you guidance. Like if you're confused about your passion or your values, there are tools that we have that can assist one with clarification of their values. They can list their values. There are different assessment tools that we can take you through that helps you with your passion. And then, that's where self-reflection comes in. Being able to introspect. We're in this age of technology, Pastor Tony, and you know that.
Yes.
These kids, even adults, we're all on our phones. We're on call 24/7. People need to take a technology break so that you can introspect. I'm sure you remember when we were in high school and people in boarding school, we have siesta. Whether you're sleepy or not, you're on your bed. And I practice that with my kids, even though they are born and bred in this country. Every Sunday, I tell them, go to your bed for an hour. And so they learned to, calm down Because I tell them I used to tell them then, that's your thinking time.
And that's it, actually. It helped a lot. It's
Yes.
really,
Can I tell you something very quickly, Pastor Tony? If people study the biography of CEOs that are up there, do you know that they actually schedule time for themselves to think?
yes, they do. They do.
They schedule time for themselves to think. And these are highly successful, well acclaimed individuals. So why can't we do that?
Very important.
Extremely, extremely important. And if you are afraid to listen to yourself or to give yourself true self-reflection, go to people that you truly trust and ask for feedback.
That's true. That's true.
Give them permission, though, because Pastor Tony, a lot of people say they want feedback and then they get upset with you when you give them feedback.
They don't want the truth.
I know I used to be one of those people. My husband will tell you that. Then I get mad. But it requires, that's why we're talking about self-empowerment, because it does require work. You know, and you and I know that it requires work.
It really does. It really does. Honestly, it's not something that you just think about and it just comes to be. It takes a bit of work. Thank you so much, Dr. Ojo Bisheso. I know our time. We want to be able to, call it a day at this time. But before I go, I just want to say that also, taking everything about yourself to God in prayers is very, very important. It is important because having said all and having done all, honestly, if you take it to God in prayer, I'm a believer and I believe that God will guide you through what you need to do. But the Bible says faith without works is dead. That's why we're talking about this today, so that you know the steps to take. And the Bible says we should fulfill all righteousness. You have to do your part so that God can back you up. But honestly, there's nobody that goes to God that does not at one time or the other assist. So I'm believing that we will come back and talk more about this particular issue. But the little we've talked about today, I'm very sure that it's going to be of benefit to you. Remember, you have to have clarity and direction. Remember the fact that you have to be able to practice mindfulness. It is completely, completely important. Self-awareness, reflections. You have to be able to do all this so that at least you'll be able to be on your journey to self-empowerment. And I want to say a big thank you once again to Dr. Odun Bisheso, my darling sister. Thank you so much. And I want to say to all our viewers, please like, please share. Make sure you take something out of this. Don't just watch it for watching's sake. We'll be back to talk more about this. And like I said, I'm going to hold Dr. Odun to that. We're going to come back and talk about the imposter syndrome that a lot of people walk about with, but they do not know it. But until next time on Times of Reflection, I want Dr. Odun to say goodbyes to us for now until we bring her back. Dr. Odun.
Pastor Tony, sis, as you call me, thank you so much for having me. And folks, I hope that when you watch this, you would want to know more and you would take one or two of the nuggets that we've given you and actually work on it. Before we do imposter syndrome next time, I would kindly ask Pastor Tony to have us do a little bit more of how you can actually self-empower, because I think it's so extremely, extremely important. And that's my passion, because when I have done that with people in my life, I have seen the difference is so remarkable that, even if I'm not paid for this, I want to continue to share with folks to be able to empower people to be able to do this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Odun. As we have said, we are both life coaches, and you can't be a life coach without passion to help people. So she means it when she said that. And honestly, we are here. You can link up with us and we can arrange something together so that we can help you on your life journey to optimizing your life and your potentials and becoming self-empowered and in other areas of, your life. I want to say thank you so much for staying tuned. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. We will see you again next week. Bye-bye.